This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Meltzer would say WCW has organized a steering committee as opposed to a booking committee. The committee is, quote, responsible for discussing with our director of wrestling operations, Dusty Rhodes, the direction of and emphasis on the various WCW money streams and the priority placed on each one. So the committee, composed of Jim Crockett, Jim Ross, Dusty Rhodes, Terry Allen, Jim Barnett, and Jim Hurd, is there to set long-term direction and emphasis, and we'll have weekly meetings. I don't know why this tickles me, but Jim Crockett, Jim Ross, Jim Hurd, Jim Barnett, and Magnum and Dusty. It's four Jims, Dusty and Magnum. That just feels like a setup for a joke. I've never seen so many guys named Jim in the same room. How this is silly, but I got to ask, would you guys just refer to each other by your last name? Because if somebody in that room said Jim, four heads turn, right?
Yeah, it could have been. I don't remember. It was awkward in a somewhat funny way at times. But you're right. It's kind of ironic that many guys named Jim were on the committee.
It's unbelievable. I mean, if Jim Cornette was here, he got 5 Jims. Now I know he's not, but still, my goodness, look at the Jims. And
that would have helped, by the way, Cornette being there. See, here's the thing. Here's how that should have worked. I think you let your steering committee turn in marriages or matches or cards, and you give the director of wrestling operations, Dusty Rhodes, all these options, and one of them might spurn a idea or a feel. That might not be bad, type thing, but that wasn't ever done. It wasn't very well organized. And we did meet, and then everybody would go their separate ways. And, Crockett would go back to Charlotte, and Dusty would go home. Magna would go home to Carolinas. And then Barnett and Hurd would commiserate about the meeting. They'd have a private meeting talking about the meeting. Then they would pose all these questions. And so who else was here that's still in the building? I am. That's why I had this purported Hurd's favorite or Hurd like JR. JR was convenient. It was the right geography. And those that don't know will always go down the road saying, well, JR was Hurd's stooge, or JR. That's a good excuse for your fucking failures. I'm still doing this and you're not. So there must be something there. So consequently, instead of the unity and let's don't discuss this in this private meeting, let's put that on the agenda for next week and discuss it with the entire group. Let's have an agenda. Let's propose. You start off proposing, what are we going to do with the title? And what are we going to do to get the title on somebody else that we think might get hot, i.e. Ron Simmons? And then how do we build that person's image as the champion? Do we have a long-term program? What's his first big pay-per-view main event? Who's it with? How are we preparing that person? But those things never happened. And because, again, too many cooks in the kitchen.
Well, when I'm in the kitchen, I'm going to jrsbbq.com. I tweeted a picture out the other day. We've been rocking that all-purpose seasoning left and right. I feel like if you're firing up the grill, there's never a bad time to break out JR's all-purpose seasoning. But Megan has shown me the error of my ways. She started to put it on other stuff. She put it on tomatoes. She put it on potatoes. She put it on eggs.
Yeah.
Your seasoning, dude, is a home run, and it's back in stock, and it's bigger than ever, right?
Yeah, it's doing well. Thank you for the compliments, bringing it up. We talked about all the various ways that people use our all-purpose seasoning. It started out being a one-dimensional product, being basically a rub. The old rub you put on your protein on the grill, steaks, ribs, chicken, all those things. And then I started branching out and using other stuff. I found out I like pan-fried potatoes. with a purple onion cut up in them, or a Vidalia. And if nothing else, it makes my little place smell good. Fried potatoes and onions. And so I realized that putting that seasoning on them made a different deal. The game changed. You know, I've mentioned this before. My lovely little granddaughters use it on popcorn, for example. If I scramble eggs and I'm going to jack them up a little bit, seasoning's always right there. So it has a lot of use, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we do have a new manufacturer. We've changed the recipe just a little bit. It's getting great reviews. People like it better than the very, very first one we did. So, and we got a bigger size bottle for those that use it a lot like yourself, which I appreciate. So still our JR's original barbecue sauce that Mom and Jan really refined is our #1 seller. But the mustard is not too far behind. The jalapeno honey mustard, and it's a great high quality honey mustard with a little personality to it called jalapeno. It's really good and healthy. So you know, we're doing the chipotle ketchup is a favorite for some people. I use it as a steak sauce. I make my meatloaf with it. That didn't sound quite right, did it? But in any event, the products are doing good. And for, you know, guys like you and I who like to eat and we like to cook, we like to entertain, you know, that's why I miss about being in Oklahoma more. I got that big outdoor kitchen and I can get all my buddies over, and the TV's there, the pool's there. It's all set up. Unfortunately, here in Jacksonville, where I am now, as we record this, you know, you can't have a grill. So I make do. I create. I go to plan B sometimes. But if you have the right seasoning, you can compensate for not being on the grill to some degree. It doesn't replace being on the grill. But, you know, they got pans out now. They got little ridges in it that gives you grill marks and all that stuff. So I'm not complaining. You can tell I'm not missing any meals. So it's all good, buddy. All good. So jrsbbq.com. And the one thing that I do pride myself in is our fact that our little operation ran by Stephen Link, we ship quickly. We already got your money, so it's not because we're shipping because we finally could get paid now when it's shipped. We want to make you happy. And I think that's a lot of people have been putting that on social media. I ordered on Monday and I had it on Wednesday or Thursday. Depends on where you live. And we got to get the U.S. mail to help us out. So all works out. So it's good, man. Business has been good too. And we still got our sign books there and all that stuff. Slobberknocker and Under the Black Hat. So it's all good. And then, you know, getting ready for.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.